A city under siege, Warsaw under Nazi rule. Warsaw, once a vibrant European capital, had become a ghost of its former self. The year was 1944, and the Nazi grip on the city had tightened for nearly 5 years. The streets, once bustling with life, were scarred with the wounds of war. Buildings lay in ruins, grim reminders of past bombings and the brutal reality of occupation. The Jewish ghetto, liquidated 2 years prior, stood as a silent testament to the horrors inflicted upon the city's inhabitants. The stench of fear and despair permeated the air, a suffocating reminder of Nazi brutality. Yet, beneath the surface of this oppression, the spirit of resistance flickered. The Polish people, known for their indomitable spirit, refused to be broken. Clandestine meetings were held in darkened cellars, plotting the downfall of their oppressors. The Armia Krajowa, the Polish Home Army, operated in the shadows, a symbol of hope for a city yearning for liberation. They trained in secret, gathering whatever weapons they could scavenge, dreaming of the day they could strike back against the Nazi war machine. Among them were ordinary citizens, shopkeepers, teachers, students, all united by their love for Poland and their burning desire for freedom. Hope on the horizon. The Red Army approaches. As 1944 wore on, a glimmer of hope appeared on the horizon. The tide of war was turning. The Red Army, having pushed the Germans back from the east, was approaching the outskirts of Warsaw. Rumors of their advance spread like wildfire through the occupied city, igniting a spark of anticipation in the hearts of the Polish resistance. Could this be the moment they had been waiting for? The moment when they could finally rise up and cast off the shackles of Nazi oppression? The news of the Soviet advance was met with a mix of hope and trepidation. While the Red Army represented a chance for liberation, many feared that their arrival would simply replace one totalitarian regime with another. The Polish government in exile, based in London, had long sought Allied support for an uprising in Warsaw. They believed that a show of force timed with the Soviet advance would allow them to liberate their capital and assert their sovereignty. However, the Western Allies were hesitant to commit to a full-scale operation in Poland, fearing the logistical challenges and the potential for conflict with the Soviets. The stage was set for a momentous decision, one that would determine the fate of Warsaw and its people. The hour of the uprising, Bór Komorowski's gamble. On August 1st, 1944, with the rumble of Soviet artillery echoing in the distance, General Tadeusz Bór Komorowski, commander of the Armia Krajowa, made the fateful decision. The time for liberation was at hand. He issued the order. The Warsaw Uprising had begun. At 5 p.m., the W hour, the city erupted in a cacophony of gunfire and defiance. From their hiding places in cellars and sewers, the soldiers of the Home Army emerged, armed with whatever weapons they had managed to acquire: rifles, pistols, grenades, and even Molotov cocktails. They were joined by civilians, men and women, young and old, all united in their determination to fight for their city, their country, and their freedom. Among them were legendary figures like Witold Pilecki, a Polish officer who had voluntarily entered Auschwitz to gather intelligence, and Krzysztof Kamil Baczynski, a poet who traded his pen for a rifle. The uprising was not just a military campaign, it was a testament to the unbreakable spirit of the Polish people. For the first few days, the uprising met with surprising success. The resistance fighters, fueled by adrenaline and a thirst for freedom, managed to seize control of large parts of the city. They raised the Polish flag over key buildings, a powerful symbol of their defiance against Nazi tyranny. Days of courage, nights of terror. The uprising unfolds. Days turned into weeks, and the fighting raged on. The streets of Warsaw became a labyrinth of barricades and bombed-out buildings. The resistance fighters, outnumbered and outgunned, fought with incredible bravery and determination. They engaged in fierce street battles, utilizing their knowledge of the city to their advantage. Women and children played vital roles, acting as messengers, smuggling supplies and tending to the wounded. However, as the days turned into weeks, the situation for the Polish resistance grew increasingly desperate. The promised Soviet support never materialized. The Red Army, halted on the Vistula River, seemed unwilling or unable to come to their aid. The Germans, initially caught off guard by the uprising, regrouped and unleashed their full fury upon the city. Elite SS units, notorious for their brutality, were brought in to crush the rebellion. The Luftwaffe, unopposed in the skies, pounded Warsaw with relentless air raids. Historic buildings were reduced to rubble, and entire neighborhoods were transformed into fiery infernos. The Germans, driven by a combination of ideological fanaticism and a thirst for revenge, showed no mercy.